Have you ever considered the fact that your breathing apparatus, half of your breathing apparatus, are on the outside of you? And that's what trees are. So I think they're worth painting. I'm Libby Page, and I paint trees. I'm painting the vitality of our connection with the planet. I think we've become very severed from the earth, in the West especially. There's not much time that we spend with our hands in the earth. I think a lot of people, especially in Germany, enjoy walking in nature, and that's part of that. And I suppose with my work, I'm also trying to speak to the people who don't get the chance to walk in nature, people that live in cities. And with my paintings, they can bring a little bit of nature inside. I love the way nature repeats itself. So I like fractals and the Mandelbrot set in the proteins, and the way kind of as you get closer into something, it looks the same as when it's big. And I think nature does that a lot, all the time. Again, with the breathing analogy, if you look at the veins running through your lungs, they are upside down trees. They just look exactly the same. And scale is something that I work with quite consciously, because I want it to be an engrossing experience. These paintings are actually quite small, and I'd like to work a lot bigger so that when you stand in front of a painting, you're fully enveloped by it, just as you would be if you were walking in a forest. I choose not to work outside on plein air. I prefer to work in my studio. I do sometimes work outside when I'm learning the area, and just to connect myself to the place. So I'll sketch and be there, but that's just to learn its vocabulary. And when I feel like I've ingested the vocabulary of the place and built a connection with it myself, then I'll come and work in the studio, because I've chosen to work a lot with the camera, actually, intentionally, because right from the beginning of making the paintings, it was twofold. It was very much a connection with a place, but it was also a commercial venture, actually. I did really want these paintings to be for other people. And I wanted them to be attractive to other people, not just so they'd buy them, although that was a thing, but that they'd have them in their homes and that they would be appealing to people. And so I was thinking about the visual images that we're bombarded with all of the time, glossy magazines, advertising, and it's all camera-based. As a person, with our two eyes, we look at things in a certain way, but the camera with its single eye looks at things with different perspective. And it's this perspective that I really enjoy. If art can give hope to a culture, re-inspire a nation or a group of people, then that's amazing and fantastic, I think. So if my work can every day bring someone a bit of joy or beauty or a moment where they can take a visual break and just rest their eyes and be re-nourished, re-storied, restored, then that's what I want to do. I do think romanticism plays a role. I find myself in a tug of war, because I actually have a visceral reaction against romanticism. However, on the other hand, when I try and look at my work in that lens, I'm like, I think I'm doing the same thing, in a sense, in a different time. I reluctantly associate myself with being a landscape painter. And it was a really big surprise. I'd been painting trees for a few years, and I arrived at a party or something, I can't remember, and my friend said, "Oh, this is Libby, she's a landscape painter." I'm like, "I'm a what? I'm not a landscape painter, I paint trees." It's different, very different. And this is why I think I have such a visceral reaction against the romantic painters, because it's not what I'm doing. If someone has my painting and, they're going about their busy lives, and if my painting for a moment in a day enables them to stop in their tracks and look at it and breathe a couple of breaths, then that's a gift. It's a nice thing to be able to give someone and give them a bit of peace in their day. So yeah, the breath is important too.